Donald Trump is even now more unpopular than he was during his first disastrous term on economic issues. This, according to a new Gallup poll and a Reuters poll as well, showing that his approval rating on economic issues is sinking and sinking fast. This as he is causing grievous injury to our markets and to our economy. Meanwhile, Donald Trump was on Air Force One last night trying to distract his supporters by saying that one of the things that he and Doge are going to be doing is going to Fort Knox to try to search for some gold. They're going to go on a gold expedition. Here's what Donald Trump had to say.
On Doge, do you know what they're looking at specifically at the Department of Defense right now?
They're looking at everything.
And are they going to cut more national
They're looking at, we're going to go into Fort Knox to make sure the gold is there.
Are they going to?
You know that we're going to go into Fort Knox. Do you know about that?
Sir,
How was that bad, bump?
are they going to eliminate more national security positions, civilians there?
We'll see what happens. But one of the things we do want to look at, I mean, we hope everything's fine with Fort Knox, but we're going to go to Fort Knox, the fabled Fort Knox, to make sure the gold is there.
Where would the gold have gone?
If the gold isn't there, we're going to be very upset.
But Donald Trump's team does not want the media to criticize any of this. Mike Waltz, Donald Trump's national security advisor, says that they are getting pushback and bad mouthing in the press and that criticizing the administration is unacceptable. Let me show you what Mike Waltz, Trump's national security advisor, said moments ago.
Why we're getting this pushback and certainly this kind of, as the vice president said, bad mouthing in the press for all the administration has done in his first term as well, and all the United States has done for Ukraine is just, it's unacceptable. They need to tone it down and take a hard look and sign that deal.
Also, Donald Trump's VP pick, J.D. Vance, was at CPAC, and J.D. Vance said the following about the essence of masculinity is telling jokes. Here, play this clip.
Is because, you know, when I think about like what is the essence of masculinity, you could answer this in so many different ways. But when I think about me and my guy friends, we really like to tell jokes to one another.
It doesn't get much more cringy than that. While all of this is going on, the Pentagon has circulated to congressional Republicans a list of generals and flag officers that Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth is interested in firing or replacing. The list, per two sources who have seen it, includes firing General C.Q. Brown, who is currently the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Previously, he was the chief of the Air Force, appointed in 2020. Then in 2023, the Senate confirmed Brown to a 4-year term in 2023. The vote was 83-11. You all may remember when Pete Hegseth was talking about conquering Gaza and, or Donald Trump was talking about occupying Gaza, conquering Greenland, conquering Panama, conquering Colombia, annexing Canada. You had General C.Q. Brown was in the room. Let me just remind you of why former Fox News host turned Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth now wants to fire the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Here, watch this.
Have a plan to send troops to Gaza?
Are you working on options for the president right now that would involve U.S. troops in Gaza?
The president is involved in very complex and high-level negotiations of great consequence to both the United States and the state of Israel, and we look forward to working with our allies, our counterparts, both diplomatically.
Folks, while all of this was taking place, a joint Kyiv press conference with U.S. envoy Keith Kellogg and Ukraine Zelensky, the Ukrainian President Zelensky, was canceled at the request of the United States. This, you can see them right here. This is Keith Kellogg, the special envoy, arriving in Ukraine to meet with Zelensky. This follows Donald Trump yesterday saying that Zelensky is a dictator and that Zelensky needs to be careful and watch out for himself. Also, you have Donald Trump and Elon Musk pushing Russian propaganda points and saying that elections need to be immediately held in Ukraine so that Russia could put in their puppet. But the U.S. canceled this press conference between Trump's special envoy to Ukraine and Zelensky. If you've been watching my shows, you know that I've been saying that I thought that Keith Kellogg is going to be one of the first people to get fired or to get pushed out of the administration. Just to remind you, this is what Donald Trump said yesterday about Zelensky and calling Zelensky a dictator. Play this clip.
Thank you. Yes.
We're hearing that Russia wants to force Ukraine to hold new elections in order to sign any kind of a peace deal. Is that something that the U.S. would ever support?
Well, we have a situation where we haven't had elections in Ukraine, where we have martial law, essentially martial law in Ukraine, where the leader in Ukraine, I mean, I hate to say it, but he's down at 4% approval rating, and where a country has been blown to smithereens. You got most of the cities are laying on their sides. The buildings are collapsed. It looks like a massive demolition site. The whole, I mean, so many of the cities. I mean, they haven't done it in Kiev because I guess they don't want to shoot too many rockets in there. They've done it 20%, but they haven't done it 100%. If they wanted to do it 100%, it would probably happen very quickly. But you have cities that are absolutely decimated. And yeah, I would say that, you know, when they want a seat at the table, you could say the people have to, wouldn't the people of Ukraine have to say, like, you know, it's been a long time since we've had an election. That's not a Russia thing. That's something coming from me and coming from many other countries also. You know, Ukraine is being just wiped out. Look at what's happening to the cities. There are cities, there's not even a building standing. It's a massive, you talk about Gaza. I mean, it's literally, these cities look like Gaza.
While Donald Trump was calling Zelensky a dictator, Donald Trump was making posts like this yesterday. Long live the king, with photos of Donald Trump wearing a crown, calling himself a king. Should also be noted that earlier this morning, Elon Musk said that he wants to shut down the International Space Station because the commander of the International Space Station called out Musk for lying about the plans to bring the astronauts home. Just take a look at this. Andreas Mogensen, who is the commander of the International Space Station, responded to Elon Musk saying that the astronauts who are still in space were left up there for political reasons. And the commander of ISS said, "What a lie." And from someone who complains about lack of honesty from the mainstream media, to which Elon Musk then responded, "You are fully retarded. SpaceX could have brought them back several months ago," and then calls him an idiot. To which Andreas Mogensen says, "Elon, I have long admired you and what you have accomplished, especially SpaceX and Tesla. You know as well as I do that Butch and Sonny are returning with Crew 9, as has been the plan since last September. Even now, you are not sending up a rescue ship to bring them home. They are returning on the Dragon capsule that has been on ISS since last September." To which then Elon Musk responded that he thinks that ISS should be shut down because he got called out by ISS head right there. I have a confession to make. As you probably know, I'm a lawyer, but up until recently, I did not have a will. And you would say, "Ben, you're a lawyer, go and do it." But I don't know. I was just avoiding it. And then I had my baby girl, Jimena, and I'm like, I got to figure this out. And so I was told to use trust and will. And I was skeptical at first. Again, as a lawyer, I was thinking, can this service really do what a lawyer can do? And I found it to be so smooth and so easy and even better. Don't tell any lawyers that I said that. Creating a trust and will could be a very slow and time-consuming process, leaving you less time for more important tasks. But trust and will makes creating your will easy and time efficient, meaning you can focus on other important tasks. And you can get 10% off at trustandwill.com/Meidas. You're going to want to keep your family prepared and protected by managing your will or trust online. And each trust and will is state specific. And so trust and will, they figure out which state are you from and they walk you through the process. It's a simple step-by-step process. It guides you from start to finish, one question at a time. Just do me a favor, save the loved ones the time and stress by having all your documents in one place with bank level encryption. It's got live customer support through phone chat and email. It's got an overall rating of excellent and thousands of 5-star reviews on Trustpilot. It's used by hundreds of thousands of families and counting. So please, uncomplicate the process with Trust and Will. Protect what matters most in minutes. Go to trustandwill.com/Meidas and get 10% off plus free shipping. That's 10% off and free shipping at trustandwill.com/Meidas. And make sure you spell Meidas right. Meidas. Also, in a new filing in court this morning, Trump is not going to like this in Trump's lawsuit against CBS News in the Northern District of Texas, where Trump is trying to forum shop this case and bring it to Texas. So Donald Trump joined Ronnie Jackson, the MAGA Republican Congress member, as a co-plaintiff in this case because Ronnie Jackson's congressional district was in Amarillo, Texas. And Ronnie Jackson said that he was a consumer who was injured as a result of the way 60 Minutes aired an interview with former Vice President Kamala Harris when she was running for the presidency, because he says that it hurt him and Donald Trump's feelings and caused emotional distress. I believe Ronnie Jackson signed a Paramount Plus arbitration agreement, though, so he inadvertently may have also compelled the entire, or Ronnie Jackson's portion, to arbitration. And the fact that Donald Trump and Ronnie Jackson are saying the 60 Minutes interview caused $20 billion of damages is one of the most pathetic things. But now CBS is now seeking broad discovery, including those related to Trump's personal finances and those of Truth Social and his Trump crypto project. So it's good to actually see, after all this news we heard, that CBS is fighting back. In addition to talking about trying to find gold at Fort Knox, Donald Trump also was asked, do you still think you can pay for extending your tax cuts without cutting Medicaid or Medicare? And you can see kind of a very old and addled and cognitively challenged Donald Trump respond. Here, play this clip.
We'll do a couple more.
Sir, do you think you can still pay for extending your tax cuts without cutting both Medicaid and Medicare?
Yeah, absolutely.
How's Republicans are planning to make cuts too?
Well, I think we're going to take in tremendous tariff money, number one. And number two, you take a look at Doge and you see what's happening. We're saving billions of dollars.
On Doge.
Finally, it should be noted that Donald Trump is now sending messages like this to his supporters. If I say please, will you at least answer question number 1? If I say please, will you answer this, Ben? It's the easiest question. Please let me know. Will you stand with Trump if I'm impeached again? Dude, you control both the House and the Senate. Unfortunately, you're not going to get impeached this term, but he's whining about getting impeached when there's not votes to impeach him right now as much as he should be impeached. Then he writes this. He's just a whiner. He just has to play the victim. They're trying to impeach me. I'm going to Fort Knox. It's like, dude, you said you were going to lower prices. You are not. You said you were going to make housing more affordable. You lied. You don't do anything with no tax on tips. You don't do anything with no tax on Social Security or no tax on overtime. Nothing about capping credit card interest rates or penalties. It's all absolutely BS after BS. And then he sends this, but $4.5 trillion in tax cuts for the billionaires. And then Donald Trump writes this. President Trump hasn't heard from you in over 2 days. Ben, did you hear that you were handpicked to become a cabinet level advisor? Please accept your invitation right away, Ben. That's what we got for you this morning. We'll keep you posted with more here on the MeidasTouch Network. We're on our way to 5 million subscribers. Please hit subscribe right now and help us get to 5 million subscribers.
Can't get enough Meidas? Check out the Meidas Plus Substack for ad-free articles, reports, podcasts, daily recaps from Ron Filipkowski, and more. Sign up for free now at MeidasPlus.com.